Antony.
Hey, Nadine. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Fine, very fine.
Oh, so lovely to have you here. So we met when I was an E&O Harvard artist. I've just recently, this month, I'll be finishing as an E&O Harvard artist. And you were conducting Rusalka with
Yes,
English National Opera. I
yes.
was playing the first nymph as part of my Harvard artist plays.
And
And
you were covering Rusalka.
I was recovering without
Yeah,
that. Yes, thank you for reminding me. But we did have that. Oh my gosh, the wonderful Corinne Winters. We had David Buck Phillip.
yeah, well, amazing.
Eden Umonch and Katie. Who were my other nymphs as well. And then Tatiana as well. Gurbacha. The Gurbaka. Sorry. The synergy that you two had with you as conductor and her as director was electrifying. I mean, I'm so sad that nobody got to see that show.
That was really, really sad. It was an amazing team. And from the very first moment that clicked. And
Yes,
it has been a long time that I really found so many people together who were really going for their thing. And everybody in the room um, knew what to do.
yeah,
Really knew. There was not one person in the room who didn't have that enormous energy to make something really brilliant. And
exactly.
Tatiana and I, we that was a good match. And also with all the singers, it was a good match.
It
And
was
it's
just
very, yeah,
stunning. So good.
energy bombed the room.
Yeah. So good morning, everybody. I am Nadine Benjamin, and I am I'm a certified NLP mind coach. I'm a certified high performance coach. I'm a healer, and I'm a professional opera singer, professional soprano. I love singing all around the world, and I love, one of my passions is connecting, celebrating, and championing people. And this morning, I really want to celebrate Antony Hermus, and I also want to connect him with you because I mean he is just wonderful. So Dutch conductor Antony Hermus has become known for his infectiously positive approach to music and life, and his natural talent for encouraging musicians to give their very best. And I have had that, so I'm very lucky. So his dramatic flair, sense of line, and clear-sighted approach are equally successful in the opera house and in the concert hall. Antony Hermus is currently principal guest conductor of Opera North, as well as principal guest conductor of the North Netherlands Orchestra. He is a visiting guest professor at the Conservatorium van Amsterdam. It's just so wonderful to have you here. Hi, Linda. Morning, Linda. Morning, Kaza. Lovely to see you.
Hi.
So, so as I always say every morning, neither Antony nor I are medical doctors, and we are not psychiatrists. So while we have our skills in what we have, we are here to provide a moment, a safe at home moment for you to be able to connect and to get any insights or new ideas or new solutions for what's going on in your world at this present time and moment. And but there are many other services available to you. So please pick up the phone. Do not be afraid to pick up the phone and reach out for help. Likewise, if you know anybody who you think is a bit shy in that, or you think actually they're not okay, please pick up the phone to them and just check in and see that they are okay. The world is opening, but we're not fully open yet. And while that's going on, people still need support. So please don't forget that. Even though we all want to move on, let's make sure that we just stay in connection. So, Antony,
So,
so tell me, how did music, influence your early life?
well, everybody has a starting point in his early life when he's dedicated his life to music, and mine was my father. He was working at a bank,
Mm.
but he was also conducting the church choir,
Oh, wow.
and he had a few violin lessons and a little bit of beating technique, but he led the church choir, and he showed me the first moments on the piano. And
Mm.
my father played a very important role because he was not a conductor in the professionally trained sense of the word, but he was an extremely good leader. He was
Oh.
a leader of a group.
Mm.
He was the one who was strict and positive at the same time,
Yeah.
and made this choir,
Mm.
where he started when he got to live in Oosterhout, where I come from, at 28, I think. And in 20 years' time, he made this chorus from 9 to 50 people,
Wow.
and all, not all old people, but all mixed people, and a male choir was it. And he just made the rehearsal moment a celebration.
Mm.
It was a celebration of social and musical things, and that was an inspiration for me
Mm.
in my, at least in the moment where I became a conductor. But I joined myself. I learned to play the piano
Yeah.
and had lessons and etc. I liked it very much, and then I joined a very good youth choir
Mm.
where I started singing. And at some point, the conductor of that youth choir discovered that my singing is okay, but not so much more than that. So you play well the piano, so please play the piano for us.
Yeah.
And that was a great thing,
Mm.
because I learned to listen, I learned to collaborate, I learned to improvise in the moment, I learned to see, to prevent things before they happen.
Mm.
And I have met a bunch of people, friends, which I even now see a few times in a year.
Yeah.
They come from everywhere in the world, from Tanzania until uh, they live over all the world.
Mm.
But we meet when they are there, and that was my first real musical initiation in my
Wow.
youth, I have to say. Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
yeah. And
And so
then,
to be influenced by your father, and then
yeah,
to have this real, almost like role model and roadmap, almost to how to go forth in the world.
yes, and also he stimulated everybody at home. My father stimulated also my sister and my brother, and they still play a little bit. You can still ask them, but they didn't. They went on another profession.
Mm.
But music was very important in our youth, and I had also a very interesting music teacher in my basic school. How you say that? My ground school, when I was really
Yeah.
a kid.
Well, I think we
When I
call it
was
primary
8,
school, or primary
these,
school. We call
yes,
it.
these persons who say, when you're 8 years, I think you should listen to this Rachmaninoff piano concerto. Here you have a cassette, and until his death for 1 year, I still got in contact with this guy, because he showed me a lot of things. He took me as an organ player. When he had to play the organ, I had to play at least one song. Also, he took me. We organized concerts together. Yeah, you
Amazing.
have certain people which are just important for you in
Yeah.
early days, and which encourage you to go somewhere.
Yes, yes. I have many of the guests have had the same. I have one. My teacher was called Mrs. Lake. Everybody has
Ah,
that influence
yeah.
at some point, which is really, really amazing. Just
Mm,
so amazing.
mm.
So you also had a career as a solo pianist. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes. Well, it was quite interesting. My father, who stimulated music very much, he was also a little bit anxious that I would become a professional musician, because he valued music a lot,
Mm.
and he said it's so precious.
Mm.
When you can become professional, then you should keep your passion for your music with you.
Mm.
And he said it's difficult to make a job, to earn money with that. You know that he saw, and my mother too. He saw easily, yes, a good pianist. He goes to play at the wedding, and he gets 25 euros and a bottle of wine, and then
Yeah,
maybe thank you,
yeah,
and that's it.
yeah.
So he asked me, "What do you like more?"
Mm.
And I have a lot of interests,
Mm.
and so I ended up studying information management at the university.
Wow.
Yeah, and which I also graduated. I even worked for half a year there, and but as in Holland, we have a saying, the blood goes where it can't go, or at least uh, it means in the end, your soul gives the right direction where you want to go. Yeah, so I was studying piano at the same time. I had a fantastic teacher, also a person who was there at the right time. It was Jacques de Thiège. He was he a celebrated piano pedagogue, and he was learning me so much about music, about life, about. It's a real guru. That's really a person I would call a guru.
Yeah.
and and yeah, and I played the recitals and a lot of moments on solo piano in Holland, most of it. But I started playing a lot with people too, accompanying singers, chamber music, and at some point I realized myself, I like that even more than solo playing, because first you fill your backpack always with something that this other person brings to you, and you can share also your own view, your own ideas, and it is a sharing thing, and that's just fantastic. And yeah, so I started doing that a lot, and then at some point there was a moment I was going to play the Greek piano concerto, and I prepared it with my teacher, and it wasn't. I was maybe 18 or 19, I think, and then it was with a very good amateur orchestra. And at one evening we were supposed to rehearse, and in the afternoon I got a call, and yes, we're not going to rehearse because the conductor is ill and we can't find replacement. And I said, wait, why are we not going to rehearse? Yes, but we have no conductor. I said, don't worry, I'll take over. We'll do something. Yeah, we'll manage it. So actually we did. So I started, and I started to work with this amateur orchestra, and the concertmaster was helping, and everybody was helping, and we had a marvelous time. And I thought, wow, this is fun. So I knocked on the door of the orchestra conducting department in our conservatory, Jack van Steen. He was my teacher in the end. And I said, can I join? Yes, of course you can join. And well, I did entrance exam, etc. And I started working. And then about meeting the right people, he was very essential for my development, because at some point, at the first year, at the end, I did my exam, and he said, Anthony, I'm not going to let you pass your exam. I said, oh, okay. Was it not good enough? It was very good, but you're doing much too much. You're dancing on all weddings where you can't be. It's much too much. You need to focus. Okay. You need to focus. I mean, you need to study only orchestra conducting, otherwise it's not going to work. And he said, you have to go to Germany, because there's a tradition of opera houses.
Where were you at that time? Were you in Holland?
I was in Holland. I was studying in Tilburg, down in the south, and but he said, you have to go there because you can start as a repetitor, and you can do all the things repetitors does, cueing and offstage choruses and library work, and if you like it, you will stay there. And if you don't like it, you will be back in 2 days. And by the way, I organized a volunteer period for you in Hagen. Wow. And because he said, as a conductor in Holland, your last name need to be Karayam or something, and maybe they invite you then at some point. And and then after that one-time invitation, he said, well, he's very young, he's not experienced enough, which is true. Of course. And so I went to Germany. Did this 2-month volunteer thing with nothing paid, nothing. I just had an opportunity to sleep in an apartment of a friend. But I played 25 hours a day. And in that moment, suddenly they had a vacancy for a rep. And they asked me, Anthony, can you stay? Okay. Yes, I like it. Why not? So I stayed. And then I got my first show, the 20th performance of Land des Legends, and where I got into the pit. When is the rehearsal? No, there is no rehearsal. We played it already 20 times, and you know the piece, we know the piece, just go in the pit. Of course, it was the Monday evening performance but I need to go, so I need to go over my fear to go into that pit and to conduct that thing. Well, I can tell you, in these 3 hours, you learn a lot. Well, so that was all because of Jacques van Steen putting the gun on my breast. You go to Germany. Okay. About meeting the right people. And there, my chief conductor, my general music director, was Georg Fritsch. And he said, Antony, come here. After the performance, you know why this passage didn't work? You did this, and you need there to do that. Aha. Okay, so next performance, you're going to conduct it next week again, so you can practice. So I did that instead of this. Hey, this works.
It's so amazing. Like Linda is just saying here that your soul always leads you in the right direction. And morning, Lena, lovely to see you. And please, anybody, if you do have any questions for Antony, please put them in the chat, and he will do his best to answer them. But what I'm finding, it's as well as meeting the right people, Antony, you are also open to learning and open to feedback and open to, you were like a sponge. I'm the same. I'm still like that now. But you just wanted to be at your best, it sounds like. And you just really made an effort to make sure that you were, just open to what's next,
Yes. And my next thing was, I was 5 years there in that theater, and then the general music director went away, and in the meantime I was conducting quite a lot. And then they decided to make me the new general music director, which was quite a shock to me and quite a responsibility.
So as the music director, that's of all the cast. Okay.
Yeah, suddenly they made me music director of that theater. And I said, oh my God, what am I going to do now? Until then, I was only waving my arms and having fun. But now I had many more things to think about. And one of the things that happened, for some reason, I got a book, which influenced also my life quite a lot. And it's the book of Benjamin Zender, The Art of Possibility. And The Art of Possibility, I read it. Some call it the Yellow Bible, which is a little bit, but I can understand it. He wrote it together with his wife, who was a psychotherapist. And at some point, he was giving London masterclasses, and I decided to go there. I was not admitted to the course, but I thought, okay, let's see. When I go there and knock on the door, I can't imagine that they send me away. So it was, so I did. I knocked on the door, and oh, who are you? Yes, can I just sit here? I don't need to do anything. Can I just sit here? And I went, and then somebody fall out of the class for some reason. So I took his place, and suddenly I was in the class.
So like me.
Like me. I love it. The way you think, okay, this is led somehow. And this person is very interesting. You can say a lot about him, but his ideas are very clear. He has a few great stories and slogans. First one is everybody loves classical music. They just didn't find out about it yet.
Oh, I love that.
Me too. I mean, and that's so inspiring, because if you think about that, you think, okay, you need people to bring to classical music and just confront it with them. And as long as you keep the label classical music away, they take it open. They are not prejudiced. They just take it.
They love it. And straight to the heart.
Yes, and we did also, I can tell maybe later about a few of these things, where we put classical music, for example, to Lowlands, which is the biggest pop festival of the Benelux, where we played Romeo and Julia from Prokofiev, and my brother, who is not a real classical music lover, but if if his big brother is conducting at Lowlands, this big pop festival, he wants, of course, to join. So
Exactly.
he came along, and we were playing, and it was such an amazing experience. People, music lovers, but not classical music lovers,
Yeah.
they listen to it, 8,000 people, and you start playing Romeo and Juliet, bam, 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 ram, padam, 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 bam, and suddenly everybody's
Yeah.
like in a pop concert, and you think, okay, what's going on here? Yeah, and then you come in the end at the death of Tybalt, and you have this in the ballet, you have 16 beats, yeah, really big beats with drums, and of course we were playing these 16 beats, and after 3 beats, the audience thought, they're going to repeat it, so bam, bam,
Amazing.
and afterwards my brother said, Anthony, do you have a CD of this guy? What is a Prokofiev? Yes, this one. Yeah, can you give me a CD? And where you think, yes, everybody loves classical music. They just didn't find out about it yet.
Yeah, exactly. Morning, Stephanie. Jeanette is saying, what a great combination, you two. Big kiss from
Jeanette is there. Oh, how nice.
yeah. And Bobby Jeffrey is saying, fascinating stuff. Good morning, both. So, yeah, good morning to you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. So we've got a festival here, similar, called Glastonbury. I would love to be singing opera arias in those big, massive festivals, because, you know, I always believe that I'm a singer of the people, and I just love that stuff. You know, I love doing all that stuff. So it's great. That's such a great story, Antony.
It's we did in years after. We went, or a few years later, we went back with Ligeti, Mysteries of the Grand Macabre, where you say on a pop festival you're singing Mysteries of the Grand Macabre from Ligeti. Yes, we did. We did it in a Donald Trump paraphrase. The singer was dressed up like Donald Trump. You can find it somewhere on YouTube, and it was just an amazing moment. And also, of course, with the kind of a message under it. That's clear. But just imagine 8,000 people listening to Ligeti and cheering. That's just incredible. And
you did Ligeti in that festival with Donald Trump. What was that? Why did you choose Donald Trump?
It was a moment where he was just chosen, and the Ligeti is about the Mysteries of the Grand Macabre. It's about the arias are sung by a person who has in that opera the role of a fascist leader.
Okay.
And then we decided to make it all work. It was a message, but you have to read it.
Yes. So you were kind of bringing classical music into today's time. So
exactly.
So we could integrate.
Yes.
The times.
Exactly.
Brilliant. I just wanted to be clear for the audience.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, because that's really, really important. You know.
But back to Benjamin Zander, he had some amazing things next to this sentence. He said also, his definition of a leader is very interesting. He says, a leader is the person who makes other people powerful.
Yes.
Yes. And that's something I really try to get in my head.
Yes.
Of course, it's the question then, how do you make other people powerful? But that's the goal, and that's also the goal of me as a conductor.
Yes.
Although I think everybody is a leader, and everybody is obliged to try to make the other person as powerful as possible.
Absolutely, yes.
And that's also when I do an opera production or when I do a symphony production. You just meet the people and you say, okay, what can I do to make these persons shine?
Yes.
That they and some people need this.
Yes.
Some people need this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see it. Also, some people need
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's just for clarity.
Yeah.
But how can you make these eyes shine of the people in front of you,
Yeah.
and as a conductor, then also in the back of you? And
I mean, that's one of the things that I have to say with you. When I watched you doing Rosalka, I found that you took each individual person. But what I loved is that you were so specific about what could be, that it was very easy for one as an artist to actually shine. And I think it runs in tandem with what you're just saying there. You know, I never felt like I was failing. I felt like you were always guiding me. I felt like, you know, but then you guided the team, and then you made sure that we were collaborating in flow, not pitting one against the other.
no,
You made us a whole. I mean, it was just stunning. And I think that's how you really resonated with me, and how I just thought, I need to get to know this man more, because I just thought it's very rare. You don't see many conductors, I'm going to say it, that do that. Do you know what I mean? So to watch somebody doing that and holding the space for everybody, and then watching everybody's performance just get more and more great and powerful and shine more, I just thought, that's because you're at the helm, and you're not just batting your baton. You're really giving us a presence. It was amazing.
thank you, thank you. That's really also my goal. I want to give a safe space.
Yeah.
Of course, I want to give a direction. That's also what my job is. But I give the framework,
Yeah.
and as a conductor, and you fill it in, and everybody. I think everybody should be connected to make the best result possible,
Yeah.
and everybody should have the possibility to fail, because only by trying,
Mm.
and also knowing, if I try and if I fail, I'm not bashed, or um, I'm not criticized in a bad way.
Yeah.
Um, Only then people are willing to take risks. And there's this great documentary by Barbara Hannigan at the moment, taking risks, because she works also at that in that way, in that spirit,
Yeah.
making a framework, making a surrounding of of freedom, of safety, where you can explore. And
Yeah.
sometimes you explore in a direction, and you say afterwards, this is
Didn't
not,
work.
no. But then you have also the freedom to go back and to explore another direction.
Yeah.
And as a conductor, I think you have to facilitate that.
Yeah.
Of course, you have a clear idea of what you want with the piece,
Yeah.
but and that's also what is expected from you. But
Yeah.
there's also a lot what other people are bringing.
Mm.
Other people are bringing, and they have to resonate with your ideas,
Yeah.
or your ideas need to adapt to resonate with them.
Wow.
And
I'm just going to bring some of that audience in. They're just saying, Dave, love to see Nadine at Glastonbury. Stephanie is saying the same thing happened to my sister. I invited her to hear my orchestra play, and the soloist playing Sibelius violin concerto. She was so emotional and couldn't believe how much she loved it. Job done. Gaynor Keeble is saying, morning both. Sadly, I can't get the sound to work on my phone. Oh, that's such a shame. Linda is saying, hello, Antony. It has been awesome listening to you and all the things you have let yourself experience. How were you able to just let go and take huge risks? Would you like to answer that one?
oh yes, it's an interesting one. First, it's not it's not explained in 1 second, and it's a project where I'm working on every day, to feel, you need to feel free, and you need to feel safe to take risks. And how do you do that? Actually, I had a great experience, by meeting a person, also a very important person for me, Her name is Jackie Reardon. Maybe you heard about her.
I've heard of her.
Yes, she's a mental coach. She is and she's also a close friend of Barbara Hannigan.
Okay.
And she, I saw once a documentary of Barbara, and she was talking about her and her method of mindset.
Oh, does she do the safety eyes? What are they called? Blue eyes.
Friendly eyes.
Friendly eyes. Yes,
Yes.
friendly
Yes.
eyes. I knew I'd heard of her.
Yes. Yes. And I was just fascinated by it because I noticed for myself that I was very hard on myself. I was judging myself in a lot of things when something didn't work, or when we rehearsed with an orchestra for 4 days and we had just one concert, and on that one concert in the first 5 minutes something goes not well, which went well the whole week but not on that moment. You think, oh my god, it's my fault, and so you start blaming yourself. And other things too. You think, okay, why is this not working? Why am I not invited here? And all these kind of things. What she calls story thinking. And Jackie worked a lot with professional sport players. She was coaching the hockey team, I think, and the Olympic team, and she was really working with them in a way she calls friendly eyes. And it's a meditation practice also, which you can see also on www.friendlyeyes.com. She made 2 courses, a Discover course and an Experience course, and which guides you in 12 weeks of meditation to her method, which is to be still in yourself and to be friendly for yourself. And that helped me a lot. And until the day of today, I'm still very good friends with her. And every now and then we catch up and we share our experiences. And yeah, that's fascinating to see if you just shut up for yourself and see yourself in this friendly eyes perspective, then suddenly it's not important anymore what other people think of you, and how other people have an opinion about you. I have to say, I still, it's still sometimes very difficult for me if I see something which is just not right, and you're not able to defend yourself, or but
that's about humanity, and you're a very humane person, so
yes,
that's never going to leave you.
But it, but it's interesting. Zender said also something very important about judging and having an opinion. He teaches, or he was teaching in the school in Conservatory in Boston, and he was also always very worried about people, the musicians, the students, getting grades and working for the grades.
Yes.
So I have an A, you have a B plus, you have a B minus. Everything needs to be in grades. And he saw a lot of these students being anxious, having fear for their exams, for everything. And he said, this is just not right. And he was talking about it with his wife, and he writes also about it in The Art of Possibility. And he said, we're going to do this different. And the first day of school, of the new season, he starts saying to the class, I am going to give everybody in this class an A.
Yes.
Yes. There are 2 conditions. The first condition is you're every week here in the class. The second condition is a more important one. I want you now in September to write a letter to me. Dear Mr. Zander, I got my A because. And then you start describing what you want to achieve in the new season, how you want to achieve it, and you start feeling the new person you want to be in the end of that season. And you start to fall in love with that person, and not one page, just write 4 pages of what you want to achieve. We don't look at it, we just do it in an envelope, we close it, and in May next year with the graduation we just open that. And then it's not about grade, we're not going to judge it, just going to read it together. And from that point on, for many students it changed. He has a story that he says, was a Chinese student, and he was in his class, and he says, normally I'm number 67, but Mr. Zender says I'm A. Normally I'm number 67, number 67. But then I discovered much more fun to be A, so I'm A. and that's also something which is interesting to do to students, because everybody has his own way. Everybody goes his own path.
Yeah.
And as a teacher, you are also obliged to support this particular path. Maybe it's not your path, but it is a path this person is going. And we're going to do, I mean, with the whole Corona thing, we were all at home.
Yeah.
And I'm teaching also at the Conservatorium of Amsterdam.
One second. Let me just a couple of people. So Marianne Town Smith is loving this. She says, and drawing lots of inspiration for audition I have later.
Oh, good luck with the audition. Yeah. Nice.
Good luck, Marianne. And she says, how inspiring to hear about freedom and safety when taking risks. Much love. Hugh Clifford says, happy new week to you and Antony Nadine. Thank you for sharing your experiences and skills this morning. And Stephanie Murphy says, what a fab way of turning learning on its head, Mr. Zander.
Yeah, bravo.
So let's get to this point, actually, because we get to in the spirit of music, and
yes.
So what new doors have kind of opened to you during this safe at home time in your music, in your life,
First, it was, of course, very difficult, like for everybody. You're cut off. We were in the middle of this wonderful Rusalka production, and suddenly we didn't even have an opportunity to say a decent goodbye. It was just in the evening. We had a wonderful Sitzprobe, and then it suddenly was cut off. So, and then it goes up and down, like probably for a lot of people who only say it's marvelous, I have time to study now, finally the scores I know and read the books I know. I just don't believe them. Sorry. Mm-hmm. I think everybody had ups and downs. But it gives also new opportunities. And after I had also, I can tell this here, my father had on the day of the lockdown a terrible message. He was diagnosed with lung cancer, and that was quite a shock for everybody. But he's doing well now. He was operated and he had 3 chemotherapies, and he's now in his camper with his girlfriend. At the moment, he's somewhere driving in Holland. Yeah, you can't imagine this person. It's really amazing. And
you were a great son. I know that.
It gave me, because of all these cancellations, it gave me an opportunity to be with him.
Yeah.
And to be, even if in Holland where the restrictions not so strict as in the UK, so we were allowed to travel. We were maybe not allowed to be with a 72-year-old person, but I thought, sorry, it's not forbidden. So I think this is more important. So I did it, and of course I kept distance and highest hygiene things. But still, it was important for him. I cooked for him. I had just some person next to him, and normally I would have not been able to do that, I would have been traveling somewhere. I was going to New Zealand for Mala 6, and we were doing the Rusalka also in Luxembourg, and it would not have been possible without canceling and something. So somehow that was great that this timing was possible. And then of course I did a lot of teaching online. It started with our class. Normally I'm there 3 times a year for a few days. Now I was there a lot of times, shaking them up in all kinds of directions. And since I'm principal guest conductor of the North Netherlands Orchestra, and from the 1st of June on in Holland, things started to reopen. So we were thinking about, okay, what can we do to, at least before the summer, try to reactivate orchestral activity a little bit. You have a lot of protocols where you have to take care of, and we had 3 directions. The first direction was they are going to do chamber music lunch concerts. But we also did another project which is very much in the spirit, I think, what this period needs, and that's about the word connection. It's connection, which at the moment is the most lacking thing, in my opinion, in society. We're all forced 1.5 meters, stay at home. They call it social distancing, which until the day of today, I can't understand that, because it should not be social. It's maybe physical distancing, yes.
Exactly.
Social distancing. Sorry, we are people. We need connection, live, human, touching connection. Okay, touching is then now not appropriate. Okay, but still we need live connection. And we started the project with music in Groningen with the North Netherlands Orchestra, which we called Solo for Two. And we did it with 25 musicians of the orchestra who did it in a very positive way. Imagine yourself, it's a one-on-one concert on a special place with one musician and one listener. And we had selected 6 or 7 places, and where these concerts were given, 10-minute concerts. So it was in the cathedral, it was in the bookshop, it was also at somebody's home. And you could book it over a website. You could only book time and place. And when you went there, it was still not clear who is going to play for you and what is this person going to play for you.
Oh my God, I love it.
So yes, so it was, you only knew somebody is going to play something for you 10 minutes long, especially for you, because you're the only listener. And we decided a little bit in the idea of Marina Abramovic, which she did, the project, The Artist is Present. We did it. We decided to have silence in the beginning. So people were opening the door. They're coming in and they're not talking. The musician is sitting on the chair. The person comes in. The person takes place, and they just look at each other for 1 minute. The musician is playing by heart, has several repertoire pieces, or maybe improvisation, or whatever happens. They are looking to each other for 1 minute, and then the musician decides, okay, I'm going to play Chaconne from Bach, or I'm going to play. I played myself also. I played some Chopin or Debussy, or I had also an 11-year-old kid, so I thought, I hope I remember still the Greek piano concerto, which I started to play for him. I mean, and it is amazing what you get then after you're finished, or when the 10 minutes are not over yet. Maybe you have another 30 seconds of silence, and then you start playing again. And I had two persons who really went out of the hole with tears in their eyes. It's just so special that when somebody is playing, especially for you, but as a musician, also, I noticed very clear what the role of an audience is for me, how an audience affects how I play, or even in this moment, what I play. And that was fascinating for me. It's absolutely fascinating because there's a connection, there's not one word said, but with some people I felt deeper connection than with other persons which are officially closer to me, which is just stunning. And we had 162 concerts like this. 25 musicians of the orchestra did it. First, a little bit skeptical. Do we really need silence? Yes, we need silence. Okay, let's try. And then they started exploring that road, and suddenly they said it's just amazing. And of course, the media picked it up. So suddenly it was news in on our BBC radio and in big newspapers. And but that was, of course, nice. But it's not about that. It's just about being that connecting factor in which you want to be as a musician. And if you're not allowed or able to play with many people together, then you can do something like this, which is with not much effort, I can say. It's just
Well, it's like I know that you know our connection has been that we both believe in kind of spiritual and mindset
yes,
experiences and connection, and it for me it's like making music, bringing music back home to its
yes,
spiritual experience.
yes,
I say when there's two people, just like we're talking now, the spirit is here, like something else is happening outside of us in order to make this happen, in order for it to reach other people, you know. And so it's so beautiful to have music brought back to its basic form, I suppose.
yes,
And that the eyes, like that connection with the eyes and bringing people back to their heart.
yes,
It's just
yes.
beautiful. What a wonderful thing to do.
It was really amazing. It was
I've
really
got, I've got Stephanie saying solo for two for 10 minutes. What an absolutely brilliant idea. She's also saying, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Yeah, you can
great.
feel that, Stephanie. It's great. Marjorie's just saying, Nadine, morning, Nadine, fascinating stuff. Sebastian Rookie Wilson is saying, brilliant both. Thank you both. Thank you all.
Thank you.
But yeah, you are, I do find you just, you're very out of the box.
Yes, that's what I want to be also
Yeah.
somehow, because I think um, music has an important function for people, and our symphonic and operatic world is fantastic,
Yeah.
but there we have to find ways to go more outside of uh, yeah of our outside of the box,
Yeah, or our
and
comfort zone even.
out of our comfort zone. We
Yeah.
did like this Lowlands thing, but also we did some in my opera houses where I was. We did scratch concerts,
Yes.
which is one of of course these sing along concepts where we said, okay, we start on Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, singing Carmina Burana with 400 people, 500 people. Then in the afternoon, the orchestra joins, and in the evening we have a concert. And even if there are people who don't know Carmina Burana, they can join.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the first time I did it in Germany, everybody said, "What is he doing? It's impossible. It's you can't do that with Carmina Burana. It's much too difficult. Normally, they have every amateur choir has half a year of rehearsals before they do it." Um, and for us, I say every oratorium chorus is singing Carmina Burana once in the 3 years. So a lot of people know it. And if I have 500 people and 400 don't know it, then I still have 100 people who know it,
Yeah.
which is enough
Yeah.
to sing it. And these experiences creates so much energy
yeah,
that in the end, and connection and adrenaline, that in the end these were highlights of my tenure as a music director, and we did it now in Groningen too, and it was absolutely the same.
yeah,
Which and suddenly you find yourself in a bath of energy, in a bath of warmth
yeah,
with this great music,
yeah,
and that's something yeah I I really want to explore. I Kennedy said so, uh, someday, some people want to know um, why this happens, and no, what did he say? No, I can't remember it anymore.
yeah,
But it's just, I think you have to try to think more open, more out of the box.
yeah.
Nothing is impossible.
No,
Really, nothing is impossible.
and I love, we were speaking before, and you were saying that during this safe at home time, it really made you think, what is this time about? What is music for? Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, and really, you really wanted to make sure that you were touching people
Yes.
and
Yes.
making sure that they were connecting.
Yes. And it was interesting. Then also, we had with the North Netherlands Orchestra. Then in the end, we came together and functioning as an orchestra
Yeah,
again. And the first moment we played together
yeah,
made our we made ourselves aware of how special this is. And the first note in front of an audience, again, we played Verkeerde Nacht from Schoenberg, which was just an absolutely transforming experience for both orchestra and for listeners.
yeah,
And that's something we need to, out of the routine of our normal job, being life, we have to be aware that these moments are the things why we are doing this,
yeah,
and what we are wanting to transmit to people.
yeah,
And uh, that's what my father said in the very beginning. In music, there's no routine. There should be no routine. There should be always from living in the moment, experiencing it in the moment. What I sometimes say to an orchestra, I say, we classical musicians, we are very much trained in a very craftsmanship way, yeah, which is very good. We are technically very clear. We have a good base, a good fundament, but also we are very much educated to not make a mistake.
yes, yeah,
And when you make one little mistake on the whole concert,
yeah,
concert is spoiled. And
yeah,
that's what I was saying also with Jackie Reardon and her
yeah,
friendly eyes.
yeah,
But jazz musicians, on the other way,
yeah,
they are completely free.
yeah,
Sometimes they don't have the technical fundamentals of a
mm,
classical musician,
mm,
but they improvise. And
yeah,
when something goes wrong,
yeah,
then they just repeat that same phrase, that same mistake 8 bars later, and
yeah,
suddenly it is an idea.
yeah,
And that way of thinking, that being in the moment,
yeah,
is so important for
mm,
us musicians, and I think for everybody.
yeah,
And I had one experience with the National Youth Orchestra of the Netherlands. I every year I do one project with them. And last year we did the Symphony Fantastique by Berlioz, and we had concert on Sunday, and we had a barbecue on Saturday, terrestrial for barbecue. And I said, okay, which music is played? Oh, no, we are going to have a jam session
yes,
with classical musicians.
a
What?
classical
Huh?
jazz
So I said,
session.
please, you organize a bass, you organize an electric piano. I'm going to play, and you organize a drum or I don't know what, and everybody brings their instrument. Yeah, so they were having barbecue and everything, and yes, and so we started because in every symphony orchestra you have one bass player who can do that a little, and you have the guys of the percussion always started on the drums. Yeah, so we did that, and it was an evening. We started at 8 and we ended at 2, and it was just fun. And we had one trumpet player, and it was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He was just marvelous. He started very shy, and in the end, he was playing a solo on everything, and he played the whole night. Then, next day, concert. And I can tell you, this experience of this one night, I felt in this orchestra deck. They were much more free. They were much more. So, this trumpet player played a brilliant fantastique. Then, after the concert, I met this teacher who came to the thing. Oh, he played marvelous, didn't he? Wasn't it exciting? Oh, this guy has a tone. And I said, yes. You know what he did yesterday? No. We had a jam session and he was playing the whole night. What did he do? That's impossible. I will tell him this is irresponsible. I said, sorry. 2 seconds ago, you were saying he was playing marvelous. Because he opened up by playing in the moment, by taking risks, by not making mistakes. He was still in that energy. And I said to this teacher, you should learn a lesson from this. And don't you dare to go to him. Don't you dare to go to him. And there you see a lot of how people sometimes think. It all needs to be strict. No, sometimes it is about something completely different.
Oh, thank you, Antony. I think that's, I really identify with that. I think, teaching and mindset and just being able, I love improvising. It's one of my favorite things. I mean,
yes, me too.
I compose and write anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got one, the BBC, going to be playing one of my compositions this week, actually.
Oh, great. Great.
So to have that freedom, for me is really, 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 really important. And, I remember when I first started in opera, I felt really boxed in. I felt like I couldn't move anywhere. And I had been a jazz singer beforehand. So the two worlds were very contradictory for me. And it's only now that I'm really beginning to understand that I can still have freedom inside classical music, which is really, really interesting. But I've got all these comments. I've got to say these comments. We've got Claire Pendleton Holy saying, morning Nadine, much love to you. Claire is also saying, nothing is impossible. So true. Claire is saying, music is pure emotion. It touches our hearts like a dart. Absolutely. Linda is saying, thank you so much, Antony. Stephanie Murphy is saying, so true. As orchestral players, we super focus on mistakes. I envy my jazz colleagues who can jam. When they asked me to improvise, knowing how well I can play, I found it so hard. So I just thought that's really interesting. She said there is a problem with how classical students are taught. We need to be free to play anything. Thank you. Hugh is just saying, thank you guys for your live discussion this morning. So I've got to close down because we've been going for ages. I didn't realise how long we've been going for. So listen, what would be your 3 tips, say, so anybody who wants to make a contribution in life, in music, what would your 3 tips be?
That's a very interesting question. You could say now a lot. I have always a quote at the end of my, as a signature of my email.
Yeah.
And maybe about what we have discussed. In one quote is, impossible is not a fact. It's just an opinion.
Oh, yes. Love that. Yeah.
And the second comes from my former girlfriend. is everything that's worth doing is worth doing beautiful.
Oh, yes. Because you always hear everything that's worth doing is worth doing right. But I've never heard if everything that's worth doing is worth doing beautiful. It actually puts more flow into it, doesn't it?
Yes. I think I like that sentence a lot.
Yeah.
And the other one is very important for me personally. Don't wait for the world. The world is waiting for you.
Amen.
Yeah.
And that's very visible in your work of what you've just said, that because you are a thinker that thinks out of the box, you have to go and create these things as well. I really identify with that. If not of not waiting for something to fall on your lap, but you
No.
working towards the thing that you want to create and making yourself a part of these collaborations and these co-constructions so you can build things and be surrounded by what you want to be surrounded by in the world of music.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I'm just going to, Tatiana is just saying thank you for an inspiring talk. Solo for Two is a genius initiative. Thank you, Tatiana. And
please feel free to take it over. You can do it with singers, you can do it with musicians, you can do it on any level.
I'm so tempted. I'm even
just do it.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so tempted. So, Antony, where can we find you?
You can find me in Amsterdam, where I'm sitting now at the moment with my cup of coffee next to me. And now it's a little bit of holiday time. We had this 3 weeks with the North Netherlands Orchestra, and we are going to have I organized a little conducting retreat with 2 colleagues for our students of the Conservatorium in Amsterdam now in beginning of August, because we thought it's since the measures of the government are lightening up here a little bit, and we can do it corona proof, but I think it's important to meet, and that they also can, conducting students can conduct actually something. We invited some quartets and things like that, so that's a week. And then officially my Tristan and Isolde premiere was cancelled, so suddenly 3 months were out of my diary. And the interesting thing is that it filled up quite okay at the moment, because every orchestra in Holland and also around in Europe is rescheduling their season. So I'm a lot in Holland. I had some extra weeks with Residentie Orchestra and also Stavanger and with the North Netherlands Orchestra. So I'm conducting quite okay until Christmas now. And so you can find me there. And this week I'm going to cycle. I'm going to cycle the 11 city tours in Holland. Normally it's an ice skating thing in Friesland, so in the north, around cities with canals. And I'm just following the canal and cycling there for 6 days. Wow. So that's the plan for this week, if you want to find me somewhere this week.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're always doing something. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
no, Antony, it's been so lovely. I love when these talks sometimes go a little bit longer than I would normally do, because it just shows just the wealth of information that you have to share. And it's been such a beautiful experience sitting here with you and just watching and just listening, like the Benjamin Zander stuff and your early life experiences and the way you conduct and the way you want to connect, and then this one-on-one concerts. I mean, it's just such an example of how passionate you are and how dedicated and committed you are to being not just the best musician, but being the best connector in music that you possibly can be. And I really celebrate that. You have a phenomenal soul, and anybody that gets to work with you is just, it's like they found gold, because you are just amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for being such a wonderful host and such an inspirational person, Nadine. Thank you very much.
So before we leave, because I don't let anybody leave without saying, do you have any final thoughts for us this morning?
Yes. Richard Wagner once said, music is the language of passion. I think it's important that everybody that wants to do something from his heart does it with passion, does it with full passion. And I think it's important for everybody to be invited to be a leader, and to lead not from fear, but to lead from empowerment of people. I think it's important that everybody at the moment in the world tries to get the connection live or also even online with people going as much as possible. And I want to repeat my final quote: don't wait for the world. The world is waiting for you.
Really moved me. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, Nadine. Thank you.
Stephanie Murphy is just saying, great quotes. Yes, I will do solo for 2. Thank you so much. And Pat Layton is just saying, feeling encouraged. Thank you. And that's what you've done, Antony. Thank you so much.
You too, Nadine. Thank you very much too.
A wonderful, wonderful session. Everybody, I will see you here next Monday. I've got another surprise guest on Monday, and she is a fabulous soprano. So get excited. But once again, thank you for the phenomenal Antony Hermus. That yeah, you're just wonderful. I've got no words, and I'm going to leave it on your words. I'm not going to leave it on mine. So I'll see you later, and take care, everybody. And thank you for being here. And I'll see you next Monday.
Bye bye. Thank you.